everyone, welcome back. Phase 2 of the PTS begins this Friday and we are getting ever closer to Season 10. At this stage, we don't know exactly where this content will take place, whether that be Washington or New York. Personally, I prefer the New York open world, so hopefully it is there. I'm just not the biggest fan of Washington. I much prefer, the tall buildings. It's just reminiscent of the Division 1. Where I'm pretty sure these manhunts won't take place is a piece of content some of you, especially if you're new, may not have played yet or even seen footage of. And it's content that I think needs to be available for everyone and utilised a lot more by Massive. Drop a like and subscribe to stay up to date with all my videos. Let's begin. Some of you will have already figured out what I'm referring to when I talk about content that some of you may not have played or content that needs to be free. And of course, it's classified assignments. These came as part of the Year 1 pass in the first year of the Division 2 and were split up over 3 episodes for that year. There were 8 of these small missions and they contain audio logs that give you more information about the story of the Division 2, specifically about Washington. But more importantly for many of you, these missions also contain backpack trophies as well. And these can only be found in these missions. So if you are a collector that doesn't have the Year 1 pass, then you are actually missing out. And that's one of the reasons, and I'm going to get onto a few more, but that's one of the reasons why those people in particular may want the content to be free now. If you do have access to this content but have not yet found all of the collectibles, there's a billion guides on YouTube, or if you just do a Google search, there's plenty of guides out there where you can get all of the audio logs, all of the collectibles from these classified missions. Now, I'm sure a lot of you watching this video will have played these missions, but there will be a portion of you, how big or small I don't actually know, that have never been able to because you never got the Year 1 pass. Now, I'm advocating for Massive to let these missions become free to everyone. The game is 4 years old, and I could be wrong about this, but I'm going to assume that most of you that purchased the Year 1 pass are not going to care if this content now becomes free. And I think there's a couple of good reasons why we need classified assignments in the hands of all players. Firstly, I've been asking for the classified assignment missions to be used a lot more in future content for the longest times, pretty much since Year 1 ended. These locations will feel fresh for most players, as I imagine most people haven't played them for a very long time. It must be at least 2 years, if not more, since I've stepped into any of these missions, because once you collect the audio logs and you collect the collectibles that are there, there's no reason to go in there again except for some variety in terms of missions. There's nothing there. You're not getting new projects there, there's no content there, so you're just never going there. And I think the freshness these small missions offer would be the perfect place to house a new manhunt target. I suspect the reason why Massive may not have used these missions after the Year 1 had ended is because not everyone has access to them. So they can't then create content there if not everyone can get into that content. I'm sure that makes sense. If then Massive did give everyone access to this content, then perhaps we could see some new targets set here, and I'd love that, which leads me on to my second point. Secondly, these classified missions have some of the most dynamic and beautiful environments in the entire game, and they've basically been unused for 3 years. Ever since Year 1 ended, most people have probably not got back to these missions due to the lack of incentive. It seems an absolute waste to have 8 really cool mission areas not be utilised to their fullest, and just because they came as part of the Year 1 pass 4 years ago. I'm confident most of you would prefer not to go back and play the same missions, Grand Washington Hotel and Jefferson Trade Center 1,000 times for new manhunt targets. If Massive were to come out and say, guys, we're going to go and use the classified assignments as areas for these targets, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys would be happy with that. I'm pretty confident most of you, it would be nice to have that feeling of going back to content that you probably haven't played for a very long time. And there is other content in the game that perhaps has received a similar kind of treatment. But I think that these particular areas are so good in terms of their structure, and they are smaller, but for just like a straight up manhunt target, I think they're the perfect place to have them. Now, I think these 2 points alone are a good foundation as to why this content has to be free for everyone. Now, just like many of you, I did purchase the year 1 pass, and yeah, sure, there will be some of you that will feel that, you know, you've paid for that content and others should do as well, or you're owed a, you know, reimbursement or whatever it is. You know, it's a point I understand because I've paid for it myself, but I would hope that, seeing as it's been 3 years since year 1 ended, any attachment that you might have to that sentiment might be far removed now. If you remember, a lot of people would have pre-ordered the Division 2. I pre-ordered the Division 2 and you pay that pre-order price. Give it 3, 4, 5, 6 months, probably less than that actually, the price would have been halved. But at no point did I think to myself, I wish I'd have waited 3 months. Some people will, of course, people that didn't like the game would have thought that. But me personally, you know, I didn't think that. And if you're playing this game from day one, then you're definitely not going to be thinking that, because you're still playing the game. And it's similar here, where it's 4-year-old content, it doesn't really matter. Just so I know where you guys land on this, can you leave a comment down below whether you're in or you're out? So just leave the word in or leave the word out. In for those people that think it should be free, and out for those people that believe this content should not be free. Now, I may even follow this up with a poll at some point, just to kind of gauge the community reaction. If I had to guess, and it would be a guess, I reckon 80% of people are going to vote in for the reasons that I've said in this video. I would love to see some of these classified missions become areas for new manhunt targets, or even perhaps used for a new game mode. Maybe there's a new activity there. I don't know. Make it free, and then use this really, really great content. And I mean this really great content, guys. If you haven't gone back and played through some of these classified assignments for like years, I highly recommend you do, because they have really great content. So make it free. Use this great content that's just sat there looking great but doing nothing. It's kind of like it's kind of like that really good-looking mate that you take to a club. You know, they look great, but they have the personality of like a mop handler. You know, wasteful. I know Massive sometimes watch my videos, so if this is one of those videos, please make classified assignments free, or at the very least, put the question to the community and see what they have to say. I don't think you'll be surprised when 80, 90%, even more come back saying, yes, please make this free for everyone so that we can get some content put in there. Because everyone, myself included, just want the games to feel fresh. And we know that Massive are not going to be adding any new maps, or at least we don't know, but I assume they're not adding any new maps. I don't believe they're adding any new kind of missions, as it were. That's why the manhunts are being done at old missions. And nothing against the new manhunts, because I think they've done really well with those. They've kept them fresh, considering we've been running the same missions over and over again. But if you want to add another layer on top of that, classified missions, they're going to do that for you. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this one, drop a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And until the next one, Epic out.